Nice to see you again. Been quite a while. But, yes, I know I always have a knack of finding where you are. I would just get used to that, kid. So, today, last time I left you off with the whole Galatea's. I'm not entirely sure how to say that name. But this time we're going on the next legacy, the Osirises. Osirises? Sorry, some of these names are hard for me. They're actually, I find these guys rather fascinating. That could just be my love of ancient Egypt talking. At least, yeah, I would probably come off better if I sounded like I knew ancient Egypt, if I was better with names. But that's neither here nor there. Let's discuss the, Osiris League. Sorry, League. Don't know why I put it there. Osirises. Osiris Prometheans have an origin Egypt. If you didn't catch on to that, you weren't paying attention. So allow me to inform you. Now, of course, the myth of their origin is they try to claim they're from divinity, which is, pretty neat. Their whole gimmick is that they believe that it ties in a whole myth of Horus and Osiris and Set, and you know how this goes. I swear, the amount of legends about monsters' origins coming from that one place is so heavy that I would almost guarantee you that it must have been a supernatural hotspot back in the day. But that's neither here nor there. Basically, they believe Osiris was the first Promethean, or maybe Horus. They're not entirely sure who is who. Not really at all, actually. One will try to claim the other. It's a big debate among Promethean scholars, and I won't get involved in that dispute. It's not important, really. What is important is they claim to tie to divinity. That they are they're kind of the leaders of the Prometheans, and you should listen to them, and they often have the charisma and the planning skills to back it up. The problem being, the moment their plans fail, they kind of have a tendency to start crumbling. Sometimes literally. They are, of course, mummies, made out of mummified bodies and that kind of thing. I mean, I shouldn't have to surprise you. This is ancient Egypt, and we're dealing with a lot of you guys are a bunch of resurrected body parts. Let's be honest here. And, they have how they kind of look, but they do have some extremely fascinating powers. Truly fascinating stuff. Like, honestly, it's underappreciated in many ways in your Promethean circles. For instance, one of their more minor abilities, is that they can talk to a corpse. They can, speak to a corpse and then proceed to ask it information new in life. It's surprisingly useful, and they do have a connection to the land of the dead just by that alone. It's truly fascinating. And the powers don't even end there. Their most powerful ability by far is that whenever they die, they can just come back from the lands of the dead. It's using their, connection to the underworld. It's surprising stuff. It makes them extremely difficult to permanently kill. However, this does come at a bit of a cost, if you will. This cost being is that every time they come back from the land of the dead, they actually lose a bit of themselves. They have to pay it back to the underworld itself. It's surprisingly interesting, and often leads to bits of the body staying permanently mummified. It's very fascinating stuff. I highly recommend, if you ever happen to meet an Osiris in real life, ask them questions about how that works. And then report back to me. I'd love to hear more about that. But that's neither here nor there. There kind of tends to be a bit on the cold and logical side, which is ironic, giving another lineage you guys haven't have. But they are true, but they often make the natural leaders of the Prometheans. You guys often tend to like to follow them, and even normal people have a tendency to want to follow and do what they say. They just have a natural leader-based aura around them. Not sure why they have it. Maybe there is some truth to their ties to divinity. But yeah, if you happen to ever find more Prometheans and you happen to end up joining them, it's very likely the Osiris will take charge, whether intentionally or not. It's very interesting stuff, and just tell me more about them. I'd love to, if you have any information on them, I'd love to know more. But that's all I have to say for today. The Osirises are, of course, well, maybe there's some truth to their stories. Although, of course, my real question, is, if they have such ties to, the supernatural and, you know, like the ancient Egyptian. What else was from that place? Ah, such questions. But that's all questions I'll have to ask. We can maybe discuss that another time. For now, the talk of them is over. And when next we meet, we'll discuss the next Promethean lineage. Because turns out there's more than just some mummified bodies out there.